Hello, good evening everybody out there. I'm here to bug you with another very interesting video about the Marvel Hero Titans Part 2. So, today we're going to just very quickly tell you that on my right hand side you have to see these figures that I already covered in my previous video if you had the chance to see it, and I will not go into any detail about them this time. If you watch my previous video, you will know exactly what they're all about. But we will move actually into these guys on my left hand side, which are the new figures that came out in the Marvel Hero Titans done by Hasbro Company, which I almost forget to mention. Majority of these guys are 12-inch, with the exception of one character, and I'll get to him right now. He's the first one to start this story. That would be the Rocket Raccoon. He is roughly 6-inch, and you can tell I will put him right next to the other member, which is the Star-Lord. And he is the only one who is actually in a small size like this, because he is supposed to be small, even in the movie. He comes with two things that are detachable. First of all, his tail. You're gonna have to plug it in. It has a small piece that plugs right into his butt, right here. And then, what else do we have? We have this big ass laser rifle that can also be removed. So there you go. And the rifle is almost as tall as he is, pretty much. There is a bit of a problem when you're trying to put it in, because this particular arm is you gotta sort of wriggle it a bit, because there is a very tiny handle that he's supposed to hold underneath here. And that's the hard part. So you just gotta wriggle it a little bit and then place the laser into here, and then it will just plug right back in. He does have some articulation, usual stuff, nothing really spectacular. So left and right for the head, cannot move up and down this time. The legs go up and down, and then the arms would do the same, but almost very little, rather going down than up. Up only enough to be able to be on the same level to get the rifle in. But anyway, we'll just put it there on the side so that we can move on to the next. The next one would be Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord, the leader of the bunch. He comes in his classic outfit from the movie. He's wearing a mask, which his character usually does. Even the comic book version wears the mask as well. So that mask is not removable. It's just molded right onto the face, so you cannot see his human face underneath. He comes with a laser blaster, which is very easily removable, and this is how the laser looks like pretty much when it's removed. And then it can be plugged very easily right back in, because his hand is molded like a trigger hand. So that's how he looks, and very nicely done, both figures. The only gripe I have with these guys is that they only did 2 members out of 5 from the movie. So Zamora, Groot, and Drax the Destroyer, they're the 3 characters that are missing from the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not really sure why they didn't make them, but I'm sincerely hoping we see them in the future at least. It would be nice if the bunch was complete, but for some reason only these 2 guys were released. Anyway, going on to the next character, this one is a good guy. He shows up in the Avengers because he's a member of the Avengers, and his name is Falcon. Why Falcon? Because he gets his powers from the falcon, the bird, I guess. And in this case, this fellow doesn't come with any weapons, and he's not supposed to, because his weapons in this case are his wings. Now you're wondering, if it's made of feathers, how can it possibly be a weapon of any kind? How can he even hurt anybody? Well, that's where you're wrong, because this character actually has the wings that are made of a special kind of metal. So practically, he's using them as slashing weapons, or he can even shoot individual feathers that would fly pretty much like metal arrows. Or he will just slash the enemy with the razor sharp ends of the feathers. So since the whole wing is made of metal, then of course it can be used as a weapon. And mind you, these wings can be removed. So, whoops. The wings can be removed on both sides, and they have 2 holes and then 2 pegs. So practically you would just have to be careful that you don't jam it too hard. Just slowly insert them in and then push a little bit, and then they will go right in without any difficulty. And that's the only assemblage that's really needed, to just plug them on both sides. And he has the usual articulation like any of these other figures. The head can move left and right. It can go even 360 degrees left and right. Arms can go up and down, legs as well. Just so that for you guys out there who are not familiar with the character, he shows up in the Avengers Assemble, which is the latest cartoon based on the Avengers. He's a member of the Avengers, as I said earlier, and he is mostly known as the sidekick of Captain America, which would be this guy right here, which I already showed in the previous video. So Falcon is his sidekick. When Bucky or Winter Soldier disappeared, then this became his new sidekick. Now, of course, you will also notice that this character is also showing up in Captain America movie Part 2, but his costume is more modernized and it looks a bit different, but he still has metal wings and he has a flight pack that helps him fly. But in this case, of course, this is a classic version of Falcon, the way he really looks in the comics and in the cartoon, and he has no flight pack. He's only flying specifically with the help of the wings. So that would be a short history about that character. Let's move on to the next one. And in this case, that would be Hawkeye. Now, of course, Hawkeye is another classic character, a good guy, and he's also a member of the Avengers. You can see him in the Avengers movie, and he will be in Avengers Part 2 movie as well. And he's been in numerous comics and all the cartoon series that were done about the Avengers up to now. Now, of course, this is not his classic look. This is the way he looks in the Avengers Assemble cartoon, which is presently on TV. And this is also partially also the way he looks in the movie, minus the fact that in the movie he does not have blonde hair. He has black hair. But he looks pretty much the same. And of course in the movie he's not wearing sunglasses. But in the cartoon, yes, he does. His weapon is a bow. A sort of a sophisticated, modernized version of a bow. And his weapons would be that he would shoot trick arrows at you. This character is actually quite similar to a character, if you follow DC Comics, called the Green Arrow. Both of them have the same quality in the sense that they both use trick arrows and bows as well. He also has the typical, for this line, typical articulation left and right with the head, moving a little bit up and down. Arms go up and down as well, and the legs too. The only thing that he's missing, however, would be the quiver of arrows that's supposed to go at the back here. For some of these characters, each and every one of them, most of them, seem to be missing certain things. In this case, he's missing the arrows, but I'm assuming the reason why they were not included is because maybe they could be easily lost, because arrows are not very big toys to begin with, not a big accessory, so it would easily vanish. But anyway, that would be Hawkeye. Now the next one in line, let's just turn this slowly, because I have a tendency to drop them all when I turn this thing too fast. This would be finally another bad guy, because the only bad guy that was made so far, if you saw my first video, was Green Goblin. Well, guess what? Here is another one. And this one is even more famous than Green Goblin, because this is Doctor Doom. For all of you guys who are big fans of Fantastic Four, or you have watched Fantastic Four cartoon series, or even the old Fantastic Four movies, he's the most known nemesis of Fantastic Four, and many times he would be an enemy of Avengers or anybody else out there and cause trouble to all the good guys. He's a leader of a fictional country called Latvia, and he's more of a tyrant who rules that country with an iron hand. And his purpose is to rule the world, of course. What else? All these guys have the same idea. He looks exactly like in the comics, and the way he would look in the cartoons as well. Now, the only problem with him is that he does not come with a laser gun that he's supposed to have, because he usually has one that he carries in his hand. Now, in this case, they did have a mold of the actual holster for the gun, but there is no gun included, so he comes with absolutely no accessories, which is a pity, but still he's very well done. He has typical articulation again, arms up and down, legs up and down. Now the head cannot really move, and I would assume that in this case the head cannot move because of the plastic hood that's molded right on top of him. The hood is not removable because it's molded directly. and he also has a face mask which is also not removable. If it was removable, you would probably see the way he really looks underneath, because he is human after all. But due to his origin story that he had a very nasty accident which burned his face, that's practically what would you see if you were to remove the mask. But I'm guessing Hasbro did not want it to go that far. So they just made the face mask as a plate that's just molded onto the face. Now, the other thing I would like to emphasize, which I find very nice, is the fact that he has a cloth cape. A very nice one. There was another character in the previous video who also had a cloth cape, so I'll just show you who I mean. It will be the Thor. They are the only two characters who have capes in this toy line, and in both cases they're made of cloth, which is a very nice touch, because you don't really see a lot of cloth capes these days. You mostly see them made of plastic. So this is nice. Hopefully they make more characters with the capes, with the real capes. That would be nice. I'm not really sure what they plan for this line in the future. Anyway, going on to the last new figure I have to talk to you about. That would be another bad guy. Imagine that. The bad guy number 3 for today. This would be Venom, the most famous and a very brutal enemy of Spider-Man. He has achieved such a popularity among the fans ever since he was introduced countless years ago in the Marvel Comics, that he's been made into countless toys, and his toys would always usually look the same costume with a nasty sharp teeth and a long red tongue. And he would have, in this case, the same articulation as all the rest of those guys. The head would move a bit left and right, and in this case it would move again a tiny bit up and down. The arms and legs would go up and down as well. He does not come with any accessories or any weapons, because he's not supposed to have any weapons. He's practically a sort of an evil version of Spider-Man. And for those of you guys who are not familiar who Spider-Man is, I'll just show you again to refresh your memory. I'm sure many of you know who Spider-Man is, but just in case that there is some of you who don't. This is Spider-Man. Now, the only difference between these two guys is the fact that Venom is supposed to be a bit larger than Spider-Man, but in this case, since they're trying to make them all the same size, then they both appear the same way. Now, of course, the other thing I would like to mention about Venom, at least according to his origin story, he's a human who was infected with alien slime that, when it's molded to your body or attaches to your body, it feeds on your negative energy and on your anger, if you have an anger toward anybody out there. And the more angry you are, and the more nasty a person you are, the more adaptable that slime will be on your body once it attaches to you. So, the real name of Venom was Eddie Brock. He was a reporter at Daily Bugle, according to some versions of his story. So one day he had the misfortune to be grabbed by the slime, and it permanently attached to him, and he formed a permanent bond with it, and he became Venom, the evil version of Spider-Man, if you want to put it that way. So anyway, these guys are, I'll just show you one last time in a quick circular mode here. I'll just slowly turn them around. You have Venom, Doctor Doom, Hawkeye, Falcon, and Star-Lord. You know man, Star-Lord. And of course, the raccoon, Rocket Raccoon, the nicest little figure you can get in this line. And I will just show you one last thing before we conclude our very important discussion here. That would be how the packaging looks for some of these new figures. So the packaging looks pretty much the same. Square shaped, has a nice display window, has the art all around. You can see actually in this case they show all the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy, even the ones that were not released. And then they have the biography of the character at the back, and another picture of him as well, and then on the spine again the group shot. So the packaging, it did not change, it's just that the colors are they're changing the coloring scheme, but it still looks quite nice. So if you're a big fan of these, go and grab them. They're available, as far as I know, in both Canada and United States, in places like Target, Walmart, and Toys R Us. And if you're interested, some of the characters do have variants of them, such as Spider-Man, Captain America, Wolverine, and Iron Man, meaning just different color of the costume, but otherwise it's the same exact figure. And I sincerely hope that in the future, if this line continues, because I have a feeling there is more things to come next year, that they will be willing to introduce more bad guys, because for the moment we only have 3 bad guys and a whole bunch of good guys. Since they did the same for the Marvel Masters, if you're familiar with them, they're also done by Hasbro, they have a very big pile of good guys and bad guys. I hope they expand this universe just as much. So follow me on YouTube and keep checking my channel. I will do my best to update any more videos and to post any new videos about other collections I have. And that would be it for now. Catch you guys later. Bye.